Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another live training, Developers Leading in Tech. And today we're going to talk about career development. Just like with all our trainings, if you see me look over to the side, I'm probably looking at notes or looking at comments to make sure that I'm covering everything for everyone. And if you have any questions, please be sure to leave a comment either on our live stream on Facebook, on YouTube, or in our Zoom chat if you join us there. So once again, welcome. And this is going to be about career development and what you need to do in order to develop your career as a software engineer, a developer, a full stack developer, or just anyone in the industry. Now, when I started out, I actually started out as a CG major. So I went to school and I'm classically trained in computer graphics. And when I started out, there was a big uh, list of possibilities of what I could do. My main focus, though, was game development and rich interaction. And so when I started doing my initial thoughts of what I want to do, where I want to go in my career, it was really heavily towards interaction. And at that time, I was thinking, okay, so with my background in design and computer graphics and web development and design, on top of that, at the time, Flash was heavy. And so I was thinking, what should I do? Well, uh, you know, with no direction, you're really going nowhere. If you think about when you first started driving, uh, wherever you look is where you're going to drive. So if you're driving and you start to shift to the left or to the right just a little bit, the car is going to do the same thing. Now, I remember doing this. We were in Vermont a couple of years ago, and beautiful. It was late night, and we were doing a trail in the snow-covered Vermont hill or mountains, and it was beautiful. Completely dark, and the only thing you could really see is moonlight. And we were in sleds or in snowmobiles, and I'm going, and I'm just like ripping it. I'm going, and I'm starting to do this thing, and I'm starting to turn. Luckily, it wasn't anything around, but it's just not having a direction and aimlessly looking. You're gonna start swerving. You're gonna get off of your path. You know, this is gonna date me. But at the time, before we had GPSs, when every time you wanted to go somewhere, you used to MapQuest things. And so, you'd go on the computer, and like for us, we love going to Woodbury, right? So we'd go to Woodbury Commons, and it was like, all right, who got the MapQuest? Who got the MapQuest? And you'd have to print out the directions. And looking at the directions, you're like, all right, let's make sure somebody's always on top of all the exits so we don't miss it. My family, we always miss the exit, never fail, until we memorize how to get there. But you still needed some kind of direction. And so, having a career roadmap really was what set me on my path to success. The career roadmap was, I sat down and I said, what do I want to be in 3 to 5 years? And then I was like, whoa, 5 years is way too far. How about we focus on 1 to 3 years? What am I going to be in 1 to 3 years? And so I wrote it down, and I listed every single possible avenue. So I looked into motion graphics, uh, game development, web design and development. I looked at production, looked at post production, visual effects, wrote everything that was possible. And I mention those things because, once again, I am classically trained in art and design. And so you might hear me talk about Unity, Blender, 3D modeling, normals, and that's because my background is heavily in various forms of interaction. And so uh, having those paths, I said, all right, how do I focus on what I really want to do? I did a little bit of everything. And then I said, all right, I'm loving this Flash system. I'm loving being able to create rich, engaging experiences. And so I started down the path of looking at what is now called UX and UI, and really focusing on creating rich engagement. And what really helped me with that is having the ability to look back at my career roadmap and say, all right, I'm shifting just a little bit too much. There's new technology coming out. Do I really need to focus on, what's new and what's hot, or what's trending right now? No, because it doesn't fit on my current career roadmap. And I made sure to stay on that. I kept looking back on it. And after a year and a half, I would look back at it and say, all right, where am I at now personally? Is that where I want to be? If not, it's time to pivot. And it's okay to do that. It's okay to pivot. It's actually preferred that you do that. And that's the reason why I say from 1 to 3 years. Don't go above that. If you go above that 3 to 5 years, we're talking about, you know, how much you can change. If you think about 4 years, just you personally growing, life events, different things happen. You may not have the same interest that you did before. And so it's important that you look back and you check at your own development and see if you really want to continue. I did a lot of time doing a lot of high interaction websites and engagements for clients, and then I shifted a little bit more into enterprise engineering, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna double down on enterprise engineering, and what skills do I need to learn? So with that career shift and doing enterprise apps, some of the things that started coming up were performance and memory optimization. So you'll hear me talk a lot about that because building enterprise apps, you have to think about that. Security comes along, databases, heavier usage of NoSQL and Elasticsearch. So having that career roadmap, I know that if it doesn't fit within what I'm trying to accomplish, I need to skirt that, and maybe in a couple of years or later down the path, if I choose to switch again or if I want to pivot myself, I can do that. Cool. Take a look at our comments to see if we have any comments or questions. And once again, if you have any questions on any of the platforms that we're streaming, you can definitely drop a line and one of us will check it out, and we'll try to pull together as many questions as possible that we can answer live, or we'll answer them after the training. Okay, cool. All right, so once again, the career roadmap is going to be crucial for your development, your growth, and knowing where you want to go to. And from there, it's focusing on what you want to learn and sticking to only learning the minimal amount of information that you need to get started. And then as you get the information and then you start learning about the different avenues, I mentioned Elasticsearch, knowing that I needed to build platforms and architect applications that required a lot of data mining, data manipulation, as well as facets. I can use a NoSQL database to get the data, but the speed and the facets that I needed would take a long time to build. So instead, I learned to pivot a little bit, learned enough about Elasticsearch, and then I said, you know what, here's what we're going to do. We're going to split off the application, and I'm going to have all my core data live inside of a NoSQL database. In this case, it was DynamoDB. However, when users want to query for anything, or when they want to actually search for something, I'm going to send them to Elasticsearch, where I can also get my facets. I can also get, be able to get some analytics on the data and bring it back to the user. And their searches, their sorting, their filtering, and everything that they needed were focused on what they were looking for. So it wasn't just a search a database like, it was a search a database, search within Elasticsearch and look through our different titles, and then we can score different pieces of information. So knowing that and keeping an eye on my career path and focusing on my learning allowed for my career development to continue to grow, change, shift, and stay within the mindset that I was looking forward to. Cool. All right, so today we also have Kate that's going to jump on the call, and she's going to explain more about career development from the business side and how the CTOs, how business management and operation are going to be looking at you as a developer and how you can take advantage of some of the information she's going to give to understand how they're thinking and combine it with how you want to grow. So let's welcome Cade.
Hold on, I'm coming. Hey guys, how are you? So it's nice to work with some of you guys. You guys have been DMing me for the ones that Edison has connected me to in the group, and I'm really enjoying just working with you guys and kind of getting you acclimated and working on some of your career paths already, kind of giving you the inside scoop. So I have my notes over here. So if you see me looking that way, it's because I had to write them out. My eyes are a little fatigued from looking at the screen today. So you're going to keep seeing me look that way. Okay, so basically, after this whole week, I guess you could say, I was working with a few groups of entrepreneurs and other corporate leaders. And we've been talking about team development, leadership, and positioning. And a lot of the people in and around their offices who have kind of like eavesdropped, been in to take notes, or just in to learn about what we were talking about, we're like, this is really relevant. I'm super excited. Can you figure out how to give me some more resources? So I know a few of you have joined the group, especially today. I saw like about 10 of you joined. So I'm super happy to see that and to get to work with you guys too. So actually, I'm going to just move my notes. Can you, yeah, just this way a little bit. Okay. So as I said, I had to write them out. Okay. So I wanted to kind of give you the inside track on what I'm teaching these other entrepreneurs as they're building and growing teams, and also some of the corporate leaders as they're building out their directors, their lead developers, and then how they're hiring. So my specialty really lies in working with companies who are looking to scale and grow. So I'm always talking about team development, resources, and positioning. So that's what you're really going to hear a lot of my major background on. So as I'm talking specifically, you can keep in mind that although this may not be your situation, I want to make sure that you're able to take what I'm saying and then implement it to your situation. So just a little background before I move forward. Some of you may be in an organization who is positioned for growth. And for those of you who are positioned in growth, it's going to look like the project life cycle, right? You're in the beginning, you're ramping up, you're getting to an MVP, and then you're going to do iterations after that. And some of you are working on the other half of it is legacy systems and maintenance and things like that. So although what I'm saying is specific to entrepreneurs and corporate leaders who are growing teams, what I'm saying can actually be used to you propelling your career forward. And I'm going to go through a little bit of the differences later on. So make sure you just listen to when I say this is for a growth team, this is for a company who's in maintenance mode. Okay, so I know that Edison spoke to you a lot about a roadmap, and that's good and great. And we all want to focus on big goals, big dreams, where we want to see our career in 3 years, which is so important because you need to know where you're going. And that's something that we always really focus on with both our leaders and their teams, because we need to make sure that they're developing skill sets and that they're marketable and that they're going to be able to innovate and scale. So roadmap is extremely important. And if some of you don't have that, reach out to us. We'll make sure to give you some of those resources, and we'll also do further trainings on it. And what I want to say about that is the big goals and the objectives that you want to reach in that roadmap are important. But what you need to really make sure, because we all get psyched out, we all get hyped off of the hope, the motivation, I'm going to do it. But we want to make sure that what you're actually producing is a plan, the actions, and then in my world, what we say is KPI, key performance indicators. Most of you probably know that. But and we want to make sure that we're seeing if it's working, not working, and then pivot. There's a little Friends reference for those of you who might get that. The next thing I want to talk about besides that is something specifically that I worked on this week with this team and this like mini mastermind. So I was talking to them mostly about leadership, right? Because if you want to grow teams, if you want to grow a career, if you want to grow a company, some of you have your own agencies, the big important factor that's going to differentiate you across sectors and industries is going to be leadership. So I'm just looking back over here. It's a little different. So when you're in a growth company or you're in the position of hiring as an entrepreneur or corporate leader, you hire for two reasons: and skills, right? and then fit. So there's a really big difference between skills and fit. Skills are quantitative. They can be measured. So that's like you guys taking some of the coding practice, them asking you like specific technical questions on an interview. But when you have either a business owner or an entrepreneur in the room and you've made it that far past the skills test, you're going to want to focus on fit. And we were talking about this today because I sat in on a few of interviews that they were doing for some tech leads. And most of the time before they came in is what we did, is I'll kind of give you the background, is we look at all their profiles. We see what they're doing. We see how they talk. We see the wording that they use, positive, negative, uplifting, stagnant, and really figure out if we think that they're going to be a good fit for the corporate culture, especially if you're in startup. Because it's so tight, compact, and fast moving, you need to make sure that you have somebody who's resilient and agile. So that is more qualitative. And that's something that most people feel, or they pick up on soft skills and communication and some leadership qualities, and also body language. So although that's not necessarily always spoken about in that process of developing and growing your career, the people that I'm speaking with, entrepreneurs and corporate leaders, are definitely looking for that. And I'm training their teams in exactly how to find that, look at it, and then see how it fits, kind of do it on a sliding scale, like from 1 to 10, and giving them some tools and resources so that way they can see if overall package fits. Because the biggest thing is hiring, retaining talent, finding talent is expensive. Right? So some of you have dealt with recruiters, some of you have dealt with maybe through networking, you've gotten it in somewhere. That entire process is extremely expensive. So to continuously do it and continuously find talent, train them, onboard them, and introduce them to the corporate culture, get them working and flowing on a team, to have to keep redoing that is a waste of resources, time, and money. So when you're starting to look to grow your career, make sure that you're showcasing those fit skills or soft skills, and that you're really honing in on those, because as much as you want to say, growing a team is a people business. So if you're not involved with them, making that connection with them, getting them to like you and know you through the ability to communicate, kind of read the room and all those little things, you might get past a few processes, but what's going to happen is you're going to start, I don't know how to say it. I guess you can say like you're going to start fall out of favor and then not really be a good fit. And then what it's going to do is that it's not going to grow your career at the trajectory and rate that you want to go. So let's see. Oh, this was a big takeaway. So today we started talking about what is a differentiating factor in making the biggest impact in hiring and leadership practices. It's this. It is the intersection of skills and adaptability, right? Because anytime you're growing a team, growing an organization, releasing products, getting into new markets, improving or diversifying services, you always need skills, but it's going to adapt and it's going to move quick. And someone who's adaptive is resilient, focused, trends, all these little keywords that you can kind of put into your career growth experience and into your LinkedIn profile or your resume are going to be key indicators that you're the person that they want to talk to first before they go through all the maybes. So, and the last thing for you specifically is, hold on, wait, there's a few questions. How do you showcase adaptability? And how do you, sorry, I'm just reading. How do you showcase adaptability, and how do you highlight that you intersect skills plus adaptability? Okay, excellent, right? I'm not going to answer your direct situation based on your position and what company you're in. I'm just going to make sure that I'm answering it so that way everybody who's on this training can apply it to their own situation. So adaptability is shown by taking initiative. That can be initiatives on projects, You can always say like, hey, I'm looking to take on a few extra things, or I'm looking to troubleshoot here for you and see if I can use the following techniques that are proven and I can implement them this way, and this way. Would you be comfortable if I worked on this to see what results we can get? Somebody who comes to me like that, or somebody in one of the organizations that I'm training in, the second someone says that, they move to the front of the line. I'm willing to pay for their training. I am willing to give them additional hours or whatever the case is to allow them to advance their career within my organization, because I know that I'm developing a leader, someone who takes initiative, and someone who's adaptable. So if you have already done that in your career or the position that you're in and on the teams that you're on, what would be a good thing is you can kind of frame that and position that. I'll go into that in the next one because that's the next session. But you can say I have, I've taken so-and-so program, applied the following things to get the results of X, Y, and Z. And that's a good way to show adaptability, either on your resume, your LinkedIn profile, or answering some questions. And you want to show how your skills, along with the techniques, the critical and analytical thinking, that's so important to advance your career, matches together, and you frame it and position it as that was your adaptability, and these are the amazing results you achieved for it. So that was an excellent question. I got that one in my DMs. And I know a few of you are also DMing me, but I'm just trying to make sure that I answer it as a total of the question instead of individually. I will DM the rest of you back individually about your specific questions. Okay, and then the last thing is positioning. So as I said, I work with a lot of the corporate and the leaders. So I'm going to take what I teach them and teach it to you in specific application of how to advance your career. I normally train in lead generation for entrepreneurials and whatever. And I want to break down the specific key steps in getting them lead generation and getting them a return on their investment, and turn it over to a return on your investment for your time and your commitment to advancing your career. So if you have a pen and paper, now is the time to write this down. Step 1, reputation, comma, process, which is, you can say like your standards, best practices, and results that you receive. That's part of process. And then the end result is your experience, and byproduct of that is the relationships that you create based on your interactions. So that is how you want to frame your positioning as someone who is adaptable, someone who is skilled, someone who is marketable, and who can grow into a leadership role if you're not currently in one. And you want to frame your individual experience as reputation, process, experience. So that's how you position an expert, which is what we're all trying to achieve, right? So the other way is 2 techniques or strategies. One is passive and the other one is proactive. So how are you passively positioned? And that's going to be on your profiles, groups that you're involved in, whether it's your personal profile or it's something like LinkedIn. You need to make sure that you're presenting the right traits, and that you're passively also putting out content or relational topics and thought processes that support the type of company or career that you want to have. So as I stated earlier, we do a lot of background on somebody before we even bring them in my clients. So the reason for that is we want to know if they're a good fit. Some people have no social presence, and that's fine. But others have extensive social presence. It allows you to get to know them. When you meet them, you already like them, which is why you offered to bring them in for the interview. You're already a warm person to that prospect. If I can be a warm prospect to you, it means I like you. I'm going to be more interested in what you have to say. I'm going to be more lenient on my assessments. And I'm going to say like, hey, we might have a little bit of skill deficit here, but because they're coachable and they're willing to work to leadership possibilities, then let's hire them, right? So that's passive. That's what you're doing. And when you're not engaging and actively seeking the connection. What we're doing proactively is actively seeking the connection. So this can be, and this is annoying to hear, but it's networking, communities. If I do not know you exist, if I do not know that You're someone who's looking to build into leadership, someone who's looking to advance their career, and you would be a good solution for me. You fit my problem. You are my solution. If I don't know that, how would I actively seek you out? So you want to make sure that you're going to networking events, you have a card, you're starting to connect with people. And again, this is where soft skills training is so important. I know a lot of teams, when I work in these environments, they don't have a lot of that training, which is why I will come in and kind of run little things for them on the side, because I want to see them advance their careers. Their skill set is great. They have awesome technical knowledge. They just need a better communication strategies or better networking strategies or better managerial understandings and methodologies, so they can advance their career past what normal gates come up for them. So I want to see you proactively engaging and making sure that people know you, who you are, know what you provide, and that you are their solution. You become their solution by doing the first thing that I said in the positioning, which is reputation, process, and experience. If you can show and position, and I guess you can say like frame, exactly what type of organizations or positions that you're looking to achieve, position yourself to be that solution. Once you do that, you're going to see people reaching out to you. Hey, I know you heard so-and-so. I know you know them. I heard that you have great experience with them, or I heard you got great results for their team. Can you come in and see what we're working on? I would love to hear your thoughts. That is an interview that seeks you out. So I hope that was really valuable, and I hope that that made a significant improvement. Again, remember, just to go over it, because I went around a lot of stuff, you need to have a plan, you need to have action steps, and you need to understand KPIs, key performance indicators. You need to know if it's yes, it's working, no, it's not, pivot. And then you need to develop your leadership, understand quantitative measurable skills are what leaders hire on, but they also hire uniquely on fit. Fit can change based on the individual who's hiring, the organization, or the team dynamics. It is all variable. So once you better understand what your assets are, you can better seek out those teams who are looking for that fit. And then positioning, right? Reputation, process, experience. So I hope that was everything that you needed to start getting a jump and positioning yourself better and growing your career, and also everything that Edison said to you as well. So you guys have a great night. I'm going to slip out because I don't know how to turn this off. And I promise I will answer the DMs. I know already some of you have sent them, but I'll answer your specific career related questions or how I strategically help other developers position for you specifically. And don't forget, I know Edison sometimes puts up like, what things do you want to learn about? Engage on those posts. Let us know what you want. We want to help you. We want to make a difference. I've been doing this for 16 years. Edison has been doing this for 15 plus years, probably more than that. And we just didn't have people teaching us the way. And it sure would have saved us a lot of time and a lot of money. So we're just looking to pay it forward. Let us know how we can help you. Interact, comment, send out the DMs. Let us know what you want. Okay, have a good night. Bye, guys.
All right, all right. That was Cade. Dropped a whole bunch of value bombs for us. I can't believe just how much was done in such a little amount of time. Like she said, we most definitely put in a lot of work figuring these things out on our own, and you're definitely going to benefit from all that, all those experiences in a short amount of time. So talked about career roadmap, how it's important to know where you're going, because if you don't know where you're going, you're going to walk aimlessly everywhere. All right, we don't want that to happen. We want you to have a focus, a laser focused goal, and we want to make sure that you reach those KPIs like Kate mentioned. She also talked about positioning yourself, passive and proactive positioning. Talked a lot about leadership, talked a lot about soft skills. These are really important skills. Being able to communicate effectively, being able to analyze what's going on within, whether it's a project, a room, or within your organization. You know, these skills are going to make such a big difference in you being able to have the career that you want and be able to leverage all of your possible skill sets to put yourself in a very lucrative position. I always say this, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. So let's make sure that we give ourselves the negotiating power by getting the education, by getting the soft skills and positioning ourselves to be as best as possible. And like Kate said, you want to be their solution, right? When you are the solution, it's easy to justify everything else. All right? Be the solution. Once again, Developers Leading in Tech, thank you so much for watching the video. If you have any comments, please drop a line either in the group or under this video if you would like. We're always streaming this live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, as well as YouTube. And we're here to help you. We want to help you. We want to make sure that you can make a difference in what you want to do. You want to reach your goals. So once again, we'll be back again for another training. For our next training, we want to make sure that you guys are part of the process more. So if you want a specific type of training, please leave a comment in the group and let us know what you're looking for. All right. We've been going back and forth with a lot of people, a lot of it in, we're getting messages. So we're looking forward to getting more of your suggestions and helping you out. Edith and Abelard, I'm out.